Imagine you're staring at your bank balance on your phone. You refresh it like something magical might happen. It says $216, or maybe $734 if you're having a good month. You tell yourself, I just need to get to my first $1,000. But that number feels impossible, like climbing Everest in flip-flops while carrying your credit card bill. Meanwhile, some finance guy online says, once you hit $10,000, the next $10,000 comes way faster. And you're thinking, sure, tell that to my rent. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That person isn't lying. They're just skipping the part where the first $1,000 is brutal for reasons that have nothing to do with math and everything to do with your brain. I spend a lot of time studying why some people build wealth almost effortlessly, while others work for decades and feel stuck. And the pattern is always the same. It's not income. It's not intelligence. It's psychology. Before we go further, quick pause. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things but still not moving forward financially, hit subscribe. This channel is about understanding money the way it actually works, not the motivational poster version. Now let's talk about what's really happening. Your brain is wired to prefer now over later. Spending $50 tonight feels real. Saving $50 for future you feels fake. That's called temporal discounting, and it's why saving feels like punishment. Your brain doesn't see savings as progress. It sees it as deprivation. That's why your first $1,000 feels impossible. You're fighting biology. Every dollar you save feels heavy because it came from effort, but every dollar you spend feels like relief. And then there's something called the house money effect. Money you worked for feels sacred. Money from a tax refund, bonus, or random cash, that feels like extra, so you spend it faster. Same dollar, different mental label. That's why people with decent incomes still stay broke. They mentally treat money differently depending on where it came from, and it quietly sabotages them. But here's where things flip. Once you hit $1,000, something changes. Your brain gets proof. Proof that you're the kind of person who can save. That's called self-efficacy, and it's powerful. People who save their first $1,000 are dramatically more likely to save the next one, not because they suddenly earn more, but because their identity changes. Now the math starts helping you. Let's say you save $100 a month. Your first $1,000 takes 10 months. It feels slow, painful, pointless. But once that money is invested and earning a conservative 7%, the timeline shifts. Your second $1,000 takes about 9 months. Your third takes 8.5 months. By the time you're building toward $10,000, each new $1,000 takes under 6 months. Nothing about you changed, the system did. At $10,000, your money earns about $700 a year doing nothing. That's almost 2 months of your $100 contributions for free. This is the moment people finally get it. They stop checking their account with dread, they check it with curiosity. Saving stops feeling like sacrifice. Spending starts feeling expensive. At $50,000, your money earns roughly $3,500 a year without lifting a finger. You've built a tiny employee that works 24/7, never complains, and never asks for a raise. And here's the real payoff. Options. When you have no savings, you have no choices. You take the job, you tolerate the stress, you stay stuck. But with 10K, 20K, 50K, you gain leverage. You can walk away. You can wait. You can say no. That's why people say the first $100,000 is the hardest, not because of compound interest alone, but because of the psychological transformation. Most people quit right before the flip happens. They give up during the hardest phase, never realizing they were months away from momentum. Building wealth isn't about extreme discipline forever. It's about surviving the early phase long enough for math and psychology to start working for you. The first $1,000 isn't just a number, it's the doorway. And once you're through it, everything feels different.